Well, how's it going, everyone? I just went live and there's already a comment. Robert Settles, hello, Brian. Has Charlie's fever gone down? It hadn't gone down as of about an hour ago. I just came in, I just had my lunch, and Marcel and Charlie are sleeping because it wasn't a great night for either one of them. I don't think. Uh, you know, Charlie's he's never a fussy baby, and he's still not really fussy, but you can just tell that. Um, he's not a happy camper, and he feels hot. He is hot. He just doesn't feel good, and I think it's from the amount of slobber that's coming out of him. I think it's just his teeth again, but you just feel bad for him. I mean, there's no cough, there's no runny nose, there's nothing like that. I think it's just teething. But um, when his fever was high last night, Marcel had set out the paracetamol or whatever it is you call it, and we think that Red found it and played with it, and I don't know, it went somewhere, and so uh, we couldn't find it. So that was the reason for the midnight ride last night. I didn't get to sleep till almost 3 a.m. because we were up with him, and he just when Charlie's not feeling good, when he's kind of sick, he wants his daddy, and I just couldn't put him down for quite a while there. So uh, got to sleep late, got up early, um, and then we had to go back into town again. And I did a few little chores around here, and here we are. I'm going to be heading out. Let's see, it's 12:30. I'm going to be heading out in about an hour, so this is going to be a really long live stream. I might even head out a little bit sooner than that. I've got to go out to the pond today, and the shrimp pond, and get that gate in. Tatai's busy with the harvest. Tatai's harvesting the rice. He was supposed to have help today, but yesterday was Elnora's brother's birthday, and there was a little Tanduay drinking going on over there last night, and so uh, I think the crew that was supposed to show up this morning wasn't quite feeling up to it. So it's befallen Tatai. Now maybe after lunch, maybe they'll help him, but I'm going to probably already be gone by then. Roy O, TNCA, usually a fever, it's behind some little infection. Yeah, you know, infants, though, when they're teething, can often run a low grade fever. Now, for me, a teething fever, and it's Fahrenheit. Forgive me, folks, if I don't jump right into the centigrade. It's not my native temperature. It's not what I grew up using. Uh, 100, temperature of 100. I mean, it's a fever, but it's not crazy high. And usually that's about what a teething fever will run. Now, Charlie's got up to 101 last night, and for an infant, that's getting into the serious range. So that's why we went into town. And I'm just always really conscious of fevers, because I had a really high fever when I was I was only about four months old, but I had a fever that went to 105, and I went into convulsions. And I'm just always conscious of fevers. And at that particular time, and I guess I was 7 months old, 7 or 8 months old, because we'd already moved to Oklahoma. We were in rural Oklahoma, and the nearest hospital, the nearest town of any size that had a hospital was over an hour's drive away. And my parents, God bless them, you don't realize the stress that parents go through. there's nothing worse than when one of your kids is sick. It's just the most helpless feeling that you can have. And so, uh, God bless all parents, and mine especially, because they went through some stuff. Fred Ziffel, I asking this, thinking you might block me. Do you feel, Mister? Do you not? Uh, I asking this, you might block me, but do you not feel like Mr. Douglas on your farm? No offense, just asking. I don't get the reference. I don't know who Mr. Douglas is, Fred. Uh, Mr. Freeze, how's Nene and Stumpy? I think you mean Stubby. Nene and Stubby are doing just fine. Nene's just she's over there sleeping on the bed. She's just kind of a fat old lady. She's pushing 10 years old now, and it's approaching senior citizen age for a dog. Ray O, infection can be stomach, diarrhea. Yes, that's the thing. He doesn't have a runny nose, doesn't have a cough, no diarrhea. Um, he just has a fever, and as far as I can tell, it's just a teething fever. Fred Ziffel, Green Acres. I never watched Green Acres, so uh, that reference is just lost on me. I don't know if Green Acres was before my time, or I don't know. We just never watched it. I think I assume from Green Acres that it's about a farm. Uh, I don't know. Was it a comedy show or something? We lived on a farm while I was growing up, so seeing a farm on television was probably uh, not of any great interest uh, to us. One of my favorite shows. Um, One of my favorite shows when I was growing up was Stalag 13. Um, I just thought it was funny and cool and neat. And I don't know, this was probably mid 70s. It was reruns. And my dad had never seen it. And he just happened to come over while it was on, and he watched about uh, 5 minutes of it. And I explained to him what the show was about, and he watched about 5 minutes of it. And he said, you know what, boy, I was a guard at a POW camp in Fitzbaden or something, I can't remember, somewhere in Germany. And he never talked about the war, but he said that show is just rotting your brain, boy. Turn it off. It ain't gonna do you no good. Uh, and it wasn't until much later when he started. My dad never talked about it much, um, but as an 18-year-old, and that's how old he was when he went into the army, and like 19 and a half when he came out. Like so many men of his generation, that war changed and defined his whole life. Uh, Troubles with alcohol, uh, the things that he saw and did at such a young age, and so many men of his generation. Uh, uh, in hindsight, I can see why he would think that was a very good show to watch. Mr. Freeze, yes, Stubby. Yep, they're doing great. Stubby is he's a pretty cool dog. Fred Ziffel, fair enough. Watch one on YouTube. Good day. Okay. Um, I'm surprised that right now I can actually do a live stream in the middle of the day. But I was looking at emails, and it loaded so quickly. They go, oh, wait a minute, the internet's pretty fast. And so I did a speed test, and sure enough, it was fast, amazingly so. And so I thought I'd do a quick live stream on my lunch break here, just to let everybody know that, yeah, Charlie still has a fever as far as I know, but it's not that serious. One of the emails was from someone who was really worried that it could be something serious, but as far as we can tell for now, it's nothing serious. Just uh, the usual baby stuff. I remember my first wife and I. It was, when you're brand new parents, and you've got no uh, point of reference other than from being raised in a large family. It's still nerve wracking when one of your kids is sick. Racer X 7709R1. I'm curious what was the impetus behind your handle? I know I've asked you your name, but you guys know me and names. I I just can't remember. But I would be interested in knowing the Racer X because what was the name of that show? There was my clock keeps falling down. There was a show when I was growing up, and I think it was already in reruns too. But what was the name of it? It was a uh, Japanese uh, animated cartoon. Speed Racer, that's what it was. I just saw Mr. Freeze there. He helped me out. And anyway, Speed. That was the kid's name. The main character, uh, Speed Racer. That was the main character's name. So it was like that show was for like 8, 10 year olds. But his brother was named Racer X, and it was like he was a WWF race car driver. He wore a mask, and he was the older, ostracized brother. Uh, I loved that show when I was a little kid, but when uh, I forget where I was at and why I happened to be watching it again in my early 20s, and I'm going, this is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why did I like it so much when I was a kid? But um, it passed many hours. In fact, my brother and I my mom used to have to mark it on the calendar. Who's Because I think Speed Racer and Gilligan's Island came on at the same time, and my brother liked to watch Gilligan's Island, and I liked to watch Speed Racer. And there were so many fights over it that my mother had to mark it on the calendar who got to watch what on which day. Uh, Childhood. Kevin M. Baxter, hi. I hope little Charlie gets better soon. I, you know, I don't think it's anything that serious, not yet. Like I say, there's no sniffles, there's no cough, no diarrhea. I just don't think he's feeling good because uh, um, he's teething. I'm almost sure he's teething because the saliva is just, it's like it's a faucet. He's not pawing at his mouth or anything, and he's not whining, but he just doesn't feel good. And I would expect them to get up before I leave. Robert Settles, Charlie's birthday party was pretty taxing for you and Marcel. It was great to watch, but it had to have been hard for you guys. Yeah, Marcel didn't sleep at all the night before, not at all. And I got about 3 hours of sleep that night. I think I went to bed at 5 a.m. and got up at 8. And as soon as I got up, it was more cooking. Usually, I like to have a cup of coffee and in the morning and go through emails, whatever, like spend like 30 minutes in front of the computer while I'm waking up. But I didn't even get that chance that morning because we didn't cater any of that. We cooked it all. And Maricel, bless her, she was up all night doing the prep work and cooked some of the stuff as well. But all that chopping and dicing and it wasn't just the veggies. All the meat had to be prepared. Uh, Maricel was a real trooper that day. I don't know how she did it. Youth. Carla D. Hello, Carla. I haven't seen you for a while. Hi, Sir Brian. Greetings always. Love to see Charlie Boy. Um, Charlie Boy and Maricel, as far as I know, are sleeping. Usually, I'm thinking that if Charlie was awake, I'd be able to hear him because he'd be fussing. Um, and I've been inside now for half an hour and I haven't heard a peep. And I don't want to poke my head in the door because if they are sleeping, I'd hate to have to. I would hate to wake them up. Stranger in a strange land. Hey, Dale. What's new and interesting? Yeah, today's the big day on the shrimp pond. I think uh, Tata and I have finally figured this thing out. I mean, I had the idea of the two boards on the bottom so that because that's always been the problem is getting the bottom of that to seal. And we had it with that gate except for the bottom. There was a big leak about, you know, I don't know, 6 inches from the bottom of the sluice. And that's why Tata wanted to do mud again. And I just flat told him 2 days ago that we're never going to use mud in that again because it's failed 3 times. And the last time that it didn't fail, it took us, we had to keep packing mud in it for 3 days straight to get it to seal. I said, Tate, we're never going to use mud on this again uh, because it's just not mud. It's silt and shrimp crap. So it just doesn't seal. And even, I've talked to the owner's son there, and they never got that to seal either. They were always screwing with it. You know, because I asked him, that was a couple of weeks ago, why aren't you guys doing this? And he said, well, my mom can't do it anymore because she's just too old, and my dad's sick, and so she needs to watch him. And he says, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to mess with that pond just because I don't feel like messing with that gate. And good luck to you guys. That was basically what he said. So I think we've got it figured out now. Tatai, he when I just flat out told him we're not going to use mud on that, get that out of your head. We're going to do it with boards and gaskets, and that's how we're going to do it. He was along for the ride. But last night, if you guys watched the video there at the end when it was sealed and it was working great, Tatai was actually pretty animated. He's going, yeah, there's no leaks. It's sealed. It's working. Hey. And now he wants to do that all the way up. He doesn't even want to use the gate anymore. He wants to make another 8 or 10 boards, put gaskets on them, and do it the style that they did it before with the stacked boards, but with a gasket and little locks behind it to wedge it in, and then that way we won't have to use the mud, and it's a perfect seal, and you can turn your back on it. The thing with using the mud, if it's not tighter than a tick's ass, and you leave, and that little leak becomes a bigger leak and a bigger leak, and then all the mud is washed out, and then your pond drains, and that happened to us 3 times. But now Tata, he's all for the gasket thing. He just, he wasn't, he just wasn't buying it because it's not anything he's ever seen before. But now that he's seen it and seen it work effectively, well, okay then. All righty, let's do it. Now we don't have time. Maybe the harvest after this next one, we'll do the whole boards thing. But I'm gonna fill that pond up today and drop that gate, and then we're gonna put fertilizer in it. And so there's no way to, if we lift up that gate, then you have a 4-foot column of water coming out of it. There's no way to put more boards in it. Maybe, maybe we could get uh, the barrel plugged up enough to where we could work we could work more boards in that. But we would have to completely stop it up where the barrel is to be able to put more boards in it. That might be an idea. Stranger to Strangeland, Dale, not a lot, same old, same old. Well, sometimes the same old isn't that bad. Jay's Journey, hello host, how's the family? And how are you doing? This is my first notification in a while. How's business going? The family is doing well. Charlie's not real great at the moment. He's got a fever, a little toothing pain, I think. I don't think it's anything serious at all. Marcel is sleep deprived, as am I. But everything else is going just great. How's business going? Business is going as well as it can go, with all the lockdowns and travel restrictions. It's going. Jay's Journey, thumbs up, host. Yeah, you guys hit that thumbs up. Much appreciated. Carla D. No, don't wake them. I just saying I love to see Charlie and my sissy too. It all depends. Charlie's not digging live streams anymore. Because he just, he doesn't want to sit still. There's things here on my desk that he wants, and if he doesn't get them, then he's going to be a squirmy little fussy butt. The last couple live streams that we did, it just, it was a train wreck. So I don't know how often you're going to see Charlie on the live streams. Probably not often for a while, because he just doesn't dig it. Carly D. Hey, hit that like button. It's free. That is very true. Robert Settles question: have you been by that store that had the rototiller? Do they still have it? When you did the video about it, it must have been 18 months ago. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Now, I saw that rototiller. I think the one I did the video on, well, the one I did the video on a long time ago, that one was in Tubagon. And I haven't been by that particular store because it's not on the main drag. I was just killing time that particular day. We were waiting for something in Tubagon. I can't remember. Oh, we were at the bank. That was when we were transferring money back and forth. We were having to wait at the bank, and it was a nightmare. And I had Charlie's. Charlie was with me, so it couldn't have been that long ago. But anyway, I was just driving Charlie around to keep us both sane, and ran across that rototiller. Now they did have a rototiller at the place at the crossroads here in town that I had seen, but it has sold. So I don't know if anyone nearby has a rototiller. The place at the crossroads does have a branch, a sister store in Ubai, because they had sold that chopper, that weed chopper that I was interested in. They had sold that, and I asked them when they were going to get another one, and they said they did have another one at their sister store in Dubai. So I don't know. Maybe they have rototiller over there, but it doesn't matter. We far out of reach at the moment, and it is what it is. Racer X, I I can't wait to I can't wait to cement. I've got to practice my reading. Obviously, I can't wait. The cement shrimp pond is done and going. Yeah, I'm getting where I'm chopping the bit on that as well. When I get back from from putting the gate in at the shrimp pond, I'm going to transfer the tilapia that I've had in the last of the pits there by the breeding tank. I'm just going to move them to the first pond. And when we do the final harvest out of the main pond in a couple of weeks, all the small fish from that are going to go in that first pond. Now, I'm still kind of leaning toward half of that tank for shrimp and half for tilapia because I've got to, you can do all the research that you want online, watch all the videos, and you can get a good base of knowledge that way. But the best way to learn is by doing, because your set of criteria, your experiences are going to be slightly different than anyone else's. And so, since I know nothing about raising shrimp in a tank, it's going to be a big learning curve, and I don't want to risk losing the whole tank of shrimp. Tilapia are pretty much bulletproof. I've got no qualms whatsoever about doing a grow out in that tank with tilapia. But again, I would like to gain some knowledge about the shrimp because I think the shrimp and the tilapia are going to be the core of what we do here on the farm, and I need to learn how to do it the most profitable and expeditious way possible. Grow Natural Farms. Hello from Hawaii. Well, hello. So, what do you grow on Grow Natural Farms? Jim A. in Florida. Late to the party. Sorry if you already answered. Did you get the rice harvested? It's being harvested. Well, it's lunchtime, so not at the moment, but it's being harvested today. Now, I did already answer. Thought I was supposed to have some help this morning, but I think his helpers were influenced by some rather free flowing Tanduai last night, and they didn't show to help him. And I've been busy this morning doing other things, and so it's been all Tatai. Um, After I get back from lowering the gate at the shrimp pond, maybe I'll go help him for a while in the harvest, and then we can both move the tilapia rather than both having to work by ourselves. Anything you're doing is easier and goes better with two than with one. So maybe I'll help him for a while and he can help me for a while. Negra Bandits, good luck with your shrimp. Good luck with the shrimp taking so long to harvest rice. You're losing it to the rats and birds. I've got to agree on that. Jay's Journey, question host, are you still helping out with your friend's farm still? You got to elaborate a little bit there. If you mean Mitch, no. And I don't know which other farm you could be referring to. Andrew hello from California. Gina Bassa, hello. Been a long time, Gina. Haven't seen you around. Robert Settles. I think the one I'm talking about was by the port in Dubai. No, if it was by the port, that was in Tubagon. And I was by there a couple months ago, and it was still there then. But we haven't had any reason to go through there of late, and so I can't tell you for sure one way or another. Sean Mans, Brian, can you explain that situation in Mindanao where he leases his land for bananas or something? It seemed profitable when I heard you talk about it. Um, I don't know what situation in Mindanao. Uh, I honestly, Sean, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know anybody in Mindanao who leases their land for bananas. Um, sorry. I oh, Tatai leases. Well, um, Tatai has a hectare, or is it two? I think he has a hectare in Mindanao. But it's as far as I understand it, it's not bananas that are on that land. It's rubber trees. There's a rubber tree plantation on that, and it's not leased. Um, it's I'm trying to dig up the word. It's a it's a it's a thing that is done in the Philippines. I can't remember the word for it, but I'll just explain it to you. You if you own a piece of land and you take out a loan on it, um, the the interest on the loan is the use of the land. So Tatai at some point in the distant past took out a loan on that property, and and so the people that loaned him the money uh, are using the fruits of the property. Uh, I mean, they're taking care of it. They're harvesting the rubber, um, and until Tatai pays that back, um, the land will be held as collateral, and any profit generated from farming that land will go to the people who loaned him the money. Um, right at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it's called. Gina Bassa, Charlie had a nice party. Charlie is the boss baby. It was a nice party. We had a lot of people here. Everybody had a good time. I succumbed to the karaoke. It wasn't bad. I only had to turn it down 3 times. I only had to threaten to throw it out into the yard once, so it wasn't that bad. Jay's Journey, Mitch Farm. He had pigs and a dog that had puppies, plus like 3 ponds. Yeah, honestly, Mitch and I had a bit of a falling out, more than a bit. Um, I have no idea what's going on at Mitch's farm. Uh, I washed my hands of it many, many months ago. So he does have a YouTube channel, but he's in, I think he's in Romania somewhere. So you could ask him, but I don't think he knows what's going on the farm either. The caretakers that we had found for him ended up quitting. He hired his old caretaker back, um, and the train wreck continued. And that's all I know. So I don't know what's going on over there. I haven't been over there. Mitch's farm is way out of the way, off the beaten path. The only reason I would ever go down there would be to go to his farm, and so I haven't been there. Grow Natural Farms. Taro is our main crop, uh, grown in what you would know as flooded rice paddies. Korean natural farming is the method we use to grow it. Maybe it's sleep deprivation, but what is taro? I mean, I've heard it before. I probably even know what it is, but taro is just not uh, is not ringing a bell. Mr. Freeze, Mitch is a case study on how to truly fail in the Philippines. I can't disagree with that. A stranger in a strange land. He is talking about Tatai borrowing money and the lender gets to take the profit from the crops. Yeah. And I just almost had it. Prenda. That's what it's called. Prenda. Um, and I don't know how much longer. I had thought when I first heard about it that he was getting close to, because I think there is a time limit on it. And I think that time limit has passed. But um, I don't think it's strictly enforced. I don't think Tata is in any imminent danger of losing the land, even though the loan is due. I think because it's almost a full hectare of a producing rubber plantation, I don't think the people that loaned Tata the original money are crying about it. It would be my guess that they're making as much off of that land every year as Tata owes. So I don't think they're all been out of shape about Tata not repaying. A stranger in a strange land. I forget the term. Yeah, I think it's called Prenda. Hi, Brian and Marcel and Charlie. Love your videos. Well, thank you, Barry. Much appreciated. Jay's Journey. I don't blame you. Mr. Free. Mitch is the kind of guy that just can't get along. Yeah, reminds me of someone else. Got to be something in the water in Australia. Mr. Freeze. I've lived overseas myself for a time, and it just doesn't work out for some people. Yeah, I can't really think of someone who could be more ill-suited to the place that they decided to make a go of it than Mitch. Uh, Personality-wise, temperament-wise, knowledge-wise, um, it was no other outcome other than what happened could have happened. Um, Jay's Journey. Free. Certain people like him shouldn't have animals. Well, it's not that Mitch didn't have compassion for his animals, but he put himself. Um, well, it wasn't. It was. It was a certain lack of empathy coupled with an astounding amount of ignorance, and putting himself far and away the first priority. When you're raising animals and you're raising them to be your income, you need to put them first. You need to prioritize them, their health and their well-being. And Mitch had absolutely no clue. Um, I don't know. I don't know if to him it was a pissing contest or if he never had an original idea of his own. But I started raising chickens. He had to have chickens, but he had to have 5 times as many. And he'd never raised a single chicken before. We started the piggery. He had to have a piggery, and it had to be. At one time, he was planning like the biggest piggery on Bohol, and again, had never raised a single pig in his life. Absolutely no experience. Then the tilapia pond was one of the very first things we did here. And right after our first harvest, well, now he's got to have a tilapia pond. But no, not just a tilapia pond. He's got to have 3 ponds, which encompass about 6 times the area of our pond. Again, never raised a single tilapia in his life. So, that's what happens when you jump in with both feet and guns blazing, and you have absolutely no clue about anything that you're doing. I mean, I'm not opposed to learning as you go, but to put all your eggs in one basket without having the slightest idea. And the thing with Mitch is that he wouldn't listen to anybody because he knew everything. He'd seen a couple YouTube videos and knew all there was to know about raising chickens and raising pigs and raising fish. And you couldn't suggest anything to him. You know, without him blowing his top. And that's what I got to say is that his personality didn't fit with the Philippines, and that he would, the John, I think his first caretaker that he had there. Um, when you call someone stupid and lazy, and you're serious, when you call your caretaker stupid and lazy, and you're serious, right to their face, what do you think is going to eventually end up happening, and in front of other people? And it's a Filipino, so that the situation turned out with his first caretaker, like it did, is no surprise. And his second caretaker, which was his girlfriend, uh, didn't end well. And his third caretaker, which that guy, there's no other way to put it. That guy ripped him off. But again, it's like the buck stops here. It's Mitch, it's your farm. You're the one that went to Australia and left it in the care of someone else. And by the time I got there, there's not really much I could do about it. Tried my best, but again, you can only take Mitch. You only take so much of Mitch. And when he started accusing me of stealing things from him, we're done, Mitch. Good luck to you. See you later. Have a nice life. Bye. And so, again, I don't know what's going on with Mitch. George, taro root is a starchy root vegetable originally cultivated in Asia, but now enjoyed around the world. So is it like a sweet potato, something like that? George, it has a brown outer skin and white flesh and purple specks throughout. When cooked, it has a mildly sweet taste and a texture similar to a potato. That sounds amazingly like the camotes, what they call camotes here. Um, that's how I would describe the camotes that are grown here. Mr. Freeze actually liked it and looked forward to getting out of the U.S. again. Yeah, I don't blame anyone who wants to get out of the U.S. Dan P. Mitch was just a disaster waiting for the right place to happen. He found it. Uh, you know, even to this day, I don't wish ill will upon Mitch. But you know what? After a while, you reap what you sow. Um, Negra Bandits, do you think you will raise milkfish again in the ocean? I seriously doubt it. Um, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying never. But right now, it'll be years from now if we do, because just from the amount of capital that it takes to get that going. So, and it's far out of reach for us now. Mr. Freeze, the Mitch videos were good just because it was a total mess. Too bad those animals had to suffer. Yeah, that's what pulled on my heartstrings was when I went out there and saw the pigs starving. Um, and that sucked me in, right? There's no way I could turn my back on them then. what are you going to do? Andrew Lowe, good night, Brian and family. It's 10:06 p.m. now in California. Get some rest, Brian. Love watching your videos. Stay away from negative vibes. Take care. Well, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. I've got to get out of here pretty soon myself. I've got to go lower that gate. So I'm going to get caught up here on comments, and then I'm going to have to bid everyone adieu. Jesse Joy, hello, Brian. My husband doesn't miss to watch your videos every day. Well, Jesse, tell your husband thank you, and it's much appreciated. George, nothing against you, Brian, but things have not been the best. Not been the best by you, also. That's true, but at least I went into it with a little bit of knowledge, rather than just being a total vacuum. I've raised pigs before, a lot of them. I've raised chickens before, a lot of them. Never raised fish before, but I would not even contemplate doing what Mitch had planned with absolutely zero history. Mr. Freeze, hey ladies, I bet Mitch is available. If you ask Mitch, he probably is. Jay's Journey, host, you are speaking the truth. I'm glad you're doing okay. You had your heart in all the right places of helping, and glad you were able to take the pigs out of that situation. Best off that topic. Yeah. Water under the bridge. Gina Bassa, I don't see JD Mead's tube channel anymore. Did he get banned? I have no idea. It's GD Mead. That might have something to do with, and it's not GD Mead anymore. That was the original channel that he made. I don't think he posts to it anymore. I forget who it was. Sam Walton, I think, the founder of Walmart, always said, advertise what you're not. And if he was alive today, he'd probably be the richest single man on the planet. So it's probably pretty good advice. And Jeff took him to heart. And so he's advertising what he's not. His channel is now called A Foreigner Telling the Truth in the Philippines or something like that. Which, if GD Mead's mouth is moving, he's lying about something. Jay's Journey, I'm so ready to leave the U.S. and go to the Philippines. I think there are hundreds of thousands, if not several million people just like you. Sean Mans, hey Brian, have you noticed much inflation in Bohol recently? Just everyday prices for food, hardware, etc. Yes. Probably 20% in the last 6 months. And I'm not exaggerating. Some vegetable prices have come back down. They're about half now what they were 6 months ago. But the food prices have just gone through the roof here. It's so expensive. And all the hardware store, everything is average it all out, about 20% in the last 6 months. Excuse me, in the last 6 months. It's rampant inflation here. Jay's Journey, it's 1:13 a.m. here in Connecticut. Total Clean Complete Services. At your fish pen, your Chinese neighbor, is he a Filipino citizen? No, he's not. George in the Philippines, taro is called gabi. Okay, well, I know what gabi is. A stranger in a strange land. I'm guilty of the longer to get out of here. I can't wait for my next Philippine trip. I'm longing to get out of here. Yeah, and I feel for you, Dale. I know it. I know there's so many guys who, for one reason or another, got stuck. Well, the reason is COVID-19, but it just it just kind of worked out that either they were taking their last trip home to get everything squared away to come back for good, or when things began to break off, they wanted to be in the States until it got better, and now they're stuck. Either way, they're stuck. So, yeah, I feel for you guys that are there and want to be here. Jay's Journey. Next year, I'm hoping to go visit the Philippines for 30 days again. I have no idea when they're going to allow travel again. I just heard, I didn't hear, but I just saw a little headline this morning that the Visayas now are the hotspot in the Philippines for COVID. I don't know when it's going to be allowed. So anyway, OKB, you got here just as I'm getting ready to sign off. But hello and welcome, and it's going to be a hello and welcome and goodbye, because I have to. It's on 1:20 now, and high tide is at. Let me check when that high tide is. I think it's 2:38, but it's going to take me about a half an hour to get to the pond. High tide today is at 2:37. So yeah, I've got to get out of here. Jay's Journey, I miss my girlfriend's family. Dale, yes, I can't imagine if I was at retirement stage and could not get back. KB Cole ×2, damn, I always miss it. Always busy. Well, one of these days, our paths will cross, and you'll get to hang around in a live stream a bit longer. Jay's Journey, I know in Iloilo and Antique, they have been getting a lot of cases. Mike Tamuth, hello and goodbye, Brian. George, so Meade attacking you for the fish farm and not the Chinese man. Meade is attacking me. I'm gonna make a video on just what made GD Meade lose his mind, because I figured it out. And I don't think anyone else has connected the dots. But he is, in fact, in my opinion, batshit crazy now. I think that he is, in fact, mentally unstable. And I'm going to make a video as to why that is so. So I'm gonna end this up, guys. Thank you for joining me. I've got to go to work. I've got to get stuff done. I'm 20 minutes after lunch here. I'd only intended to make this a 30, 45-minute live stream, and I've got things to do. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. On your way out, please, everyone, hit that thumbs up. And anyone who is new, or anybody who is a long-time viewer, but you haven't hit that subscribe button, go over there and hit that subscribe button. Have a great day. I hope your son gets well. Thank you, Jay. Dan P. Copious amounts of alcohol over decades. Yeah. And Red Hat Mac. I wish I could stay, guys, because everybody's joining in now. Maybe I'll do another live stream tonight. If any of this same crowd wants to join in again, please do so. It depends on how tired I am in the internet tonight. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe if you would like to do so. And we will catch you all next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye now.